I don't do that. No, of course not.
I'm just kidding.
We're going live now. Now we're live.
Okay, now we're live.
Now we're live. Yes.
Let me put on my face. Sorry, I gotta make sure that what happened last week doesn't happen.
Oh yeah. What? So, did you come up with any ideas or thoughts?
It had to be the SD card being like too full to record. I don't know. It just must have been something with the software, like going, your SD card's too full. We're gonna stop the recording for you. So, but like that wasn't helpful. Like, let me just use every ounce of space I have. I really don't know.
Let me swap these Bluetooth headphones out real quick. Hold on.
Okay.
Let me get rid of them. I don't like these. Hold on.
Let me retweet something.
All
right. Look at that.
Gonna be pair of these.
Oh, hello, people in the chat. Sorry, I just looked up. How's it going, everyone?
Now, let me see if I can turn this so I can hear you.
How's your Sunday going?
I see people are in the chat.
Yeah.
Audio, headphones, electronics. Okay. Now, can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, but I can't hear you. Let me back out of this, and then I will come back.
He will.
Right,
he will.
How do I do this? I will bounce out and come back. Okay.
Mama. Keep getting sidetracked.
There we go.
Join us for another Sunday edition of
Gadgetcast. Let's go Gadgetcast. Your microphone's screwing up? Whose microphone's screwing up?
Is it me or Travis? Who's odd? Who's odd sounding? Okay, now.
Wait. That's okay now? Everything's good?
I think it was me. I think I was just naturally talking in a weird voice. Sorry.
Well, because your voice is crazy.
Yeah. I was purposely. Oh, the stream is broken. What is going on?
What are you talking about? What happened?
Angel Drain is broken. Stream is broken.
Everyone says it's fine.
Everyone else says it's fine. Angel Dranger, stream is fine. Not rest in peace. Rest in forever. RIF. Riff.
For an 8-year-old iPad. We'll get into that in our live stream, Lions fan. We'll answer that during the live stream. That's a good question. I would spoiler alert. I'd probably say fire tablet. It's exquisite now. Look at that. GWC.
Oh, exquisite. What?
Yes. It was bad, but better now.
Exquisite podcast.
So what we're also going to do at some point, I need to talk to Greg about this. At some point, we're going to live stream on Greg's Twitter as well at the same time. And that's the best way to get more followers.
It's blowing up now.
You know how many followers you get on Twitter by having a live stream on your Twitter? I don't know, but
it's gonna be crazy. Hey, Onimaru.
Right, Onimaru in the house. Oh, and Greg. That's funny. Ultra flips. Yeah. Everyone's like, for this age. All right. Well, let's get into the podcast so we can, I don't know, answer these questions and then get all the other things you want to talk about.
Join us for another Sunday edition of is it the Gadgetcast or just Gadgetcast?
I don't know, dude. See, and is it 2 words or 1 word? That's the other thing.
One word.
It's 1 word, 2 capitalizations, right?
1 word, 2 capitals. That's right.
Thank you. Because I didn't know, and I'm on the damn thing.
That's right. Gadgetcast. It's gonna be. What's a good word? Chat. It's gonna be what? Chat.
It's gonna be fantastic.
What's like the delay in like a YouTube chat? Like how many seconds?
Not too much. Not too much. I have it in the low delay. There's an ultra low delay, but I don't do that one. 1 word to rule them all.
It's gonna be satanic.
What are you talking about, dude?
It's gonna be gregarious. I like that. There we go.
Oh, that is a good one.
Look at that. Bam.
All right. We'll get to all your questions as soon as
now I retweeted it. So now people are really going to come into the stream.
Now it's going to be like a flood.
Now it's going to blow up.
Last week was crazy. We had a lot of people watching last week. By the end, it was like 30 or something. It was crazy.
I specifically mentioned in like one of my videos, like, Sunday, 5 p.m. Eastern, we're going to talk about some things going on with China and production.
Yes.
That was the funniest video. I'll say that for the podcast.
Yes, you will. That's a green screen, Just Rogers. But the other thing is, like, there's all types of software where you don't even need a green screen to kind of do this stuff. It's crazy what you can do in software nowadays, but these are green screens. Okay. It's the double boob green screen, the double G's right there. As you can see, the Greg's Gadgets, the G. Yeah. Or sorry, not Greg's Gadgets. Well, I guess it is.
Oh.
Damn it, man.
Gadgetcast.
Damn it. Okay. Tell me when you're ready.
I'm almost there. Let's see.
You guys get to see the beginning
of
this week's podcast, baby.
That's on the multi-track. The
many millions of people will listen to it later this week. Like lots of people. Everyone. Best I can see. Every time I pull up the stats, it's everybody. Literally the stats when I go, how many people listen this week? It says everybody. And I go, okay, I accept that.
All right, let me just take there's a tired yawn, exclusive yawn for
the precast.
All right, hold on. There's already 2 dislikes. This is a bad stream.
What? We have haters already? We've made it. We've made it. We have haters. We have pre-stream haters. I love it.
All right.
Hold on. Let me get a cup so I can drink your tears of hate.
Oh, I should mute.
I love it.
Hey, this is the pre-show. This isn't real. You can't just like the pre-show. This is like warming up. We're not ready.
Nobody likes the pre-show. It's the show and the after show. Everyone loves the after show.
Right. Let's get started.
Okay. Cool. All right. You ready?
Are you ready?
I'm ready. Hit it in 3, 2, 1. Record.
Hello, world, and welcome to another gregarious episode of the Gadgetcast. I am your host. Kind of went with like a southern twang there. I didn't mean that. I'm sorry. I'm from New Jersey. Gregory McFadden, joined by the man himself, Travis MCP.
That's right, baby. We doing it big on another episode of the Gadgetcast, which we found right before we went live that it's actually one word. If you have been typing in 2 words,
you
have been misspelling Gadgetcast, and I may have been as well.
Yeah, might have to go back and change all the episode titles and get our SEO up and running again. There's been some hits lately. No, everything's going great. Everything's going smooth. Glad to be back another Sunday. Actually, last episode wasn't so smooth. People in the podcast feed might have realized I gave up. Just used like the stream version of the audio.
Is that what happened?
Yeah, I was like I got to it and I was like, oh, this is a lot of work. You know what? like, the stream quality actually sounded like it was decent. I was happy with it. Yeah. I love the crisp audio, but I was like, you know what? For 1 week they can suffer. Suffer.
So for people who don't know, or people that are new, we live stream our recordings, which now there's people in the chat here, which will be answering some of their questions as well. If you're interested in being a part of that, come to youtube.com/gadgetcast. And we tend to live stream Sundays at 2 p.m. Pacific, 5 p.m. Eastern. And you can come and do the pre and the post show, which we do, which is lots of fun. But we do record directly to SD cards in a higher bit rate, a much better audio quality for our audio podcast. And I think I think we have one of the best sounding podcasts out there. Now, on the live stream, it sounds pretty good, but it sounds a lot better in the audio podcast, in case people are wondering.
The live stream's more fun because you can interact, but if you want the highest fidelity in audio, you got to listen to the recording. I say do both. I say join us for a live stream, and then you're like, you know what? I got to listen to this in the highest audio quality possible. I'm going to go download this on Apple Podcasts. You know what? This podcast was so good. I'm also going to rate it 5 stars while I'm there. I don't want to tell you what to do, but that's what I would do as a podcast listener. As a listener, not a
that
host.
Seems like the best and most appropriate thing to do, is what I believe.
Yes. Oh,
right,
Travis, what a week.
Let's real quick before we get into those, let's answer some of the questions that came up in chat. We will forget them.
Look at this. Okay.
So yeah, so people that are, again, if you're listening on the podcast, we have people in here asking questions already. Let's go ahead and answer this first question from Lions Fan 67. Hey, question for an 8-year-old, iPad 5 or iPad Mini, which supports the pencil? So the new iPad 10.2 inch does support the pencil. Right now, it's $249 on Amazon. Just from a price perspective alone, there's your win. But do it now, because I don't know how long that sale's been going on for a long time. I don't know how much longer it's going to last, but that would be, and that one does support the pencil.
Yeah, I'd say just go for the regular iPad for, what was it, 8?
It was the Mini or the iPad 5, which I guess is the one that's out right now.
I don't know if that's the 5th. I feel like that's like,
isn't it 5th generation?
Maybe, I don't
know. Or
is
it beyond it? Is it beyond? If they would actually put damn numbers behind the iPad, we would know. I hate that.
Any iPad you can buy today, iPad, iPad Mini, iPad Pro, every single one in the lineup, they all support the Apple Pencil now. I'm with Travis. I say go for the 10.2 inch iPad, $250. Give that to a kid. They're going to love it. It's going to be great.
For a 34-year-old from Harlem's Carl, the S20 Ultra, the Galaxy Fold, or the Z Flip. I have the money. All of them.
I think you gotta go. You gotta go Z Flip. If you're trendy like me, look at that. So trendy.
You are the trendiest. We established this last week, I believe. That you're the most trendy.
Yeah, I just want to say that I am trendy. Oh man. I don't know if that's like a serious question for a 34-year-old. I don't think it is, but. Don't buy the Z Flip.
Yeah,
how about that?
Don't. Yeah, how about don't do that?
Yeah, that's my recommendation.
Although it looks fun, but I think the Fold, as we talked about before, is the Fold actually serves a function rather than just being neat. Like the Z Flip is neat, but the Fold actually serves a function on the Fold.
Yeah, I've been seeing a lot of sentiment on like Twitter of people going like, "There's no purpose to the Z Flip," and what's the point of it? My phones fit in my pocket fine, and I'm like, I get it. Okay, it's like a small benefit to like fold in half. I've seen people go, it's thicker when you fold it in half, so it's not going to fit as well into your pocket. And I find that it does fit better in my pocket, at least. Like folding in half, it's like a real portability benefit. Is it a major benefit? No, it's like a 1%er problem kind of issue. Yeah. Like it's not like the biggest problem in the world. And yeah, definitely don't buy it because there's too many compromises for this design right now, and it's way too expensive for that relatively small benefit. But that is the benefit. The fact that you can fold it in half and make it more compact, that's the benefit of the Z Flip. But I definitely agree with you, Travis. I think the Fold is what I really want. Like, give me a normal size phone, let me open it up, and all of a sudden I got like a iPad mini size tablet. And I think, I'm excited for that.
So Joe on Twitter, even though he didn't directly message in the message thing, he says on Twitter that Travis, you should run for president. I would vote for you. You have 9 months. I don't think I'm going to do that. I appreciate the support, but I don't think I'm going to do that.
Yeah, I don't think Travis filled out his registration papers yet for.
I don't even vote. How to be?
He didn't fill out any of the registrations for the primaries. I don't know. Can we make Super Tuesday? I don't know. I think it might be too late.
No. The only Tuesday I care about is T-Mobile Tuesday. That's about it. All right. What do we got? What do we got, Greg?
What a week, Travis. What a week.
Yes.
So there have been, and I just did a video on this, and backstory on this video. I was talking about, the possibility of Apple having a March event. It looks like we're going to get one. Most charismatic in the chat. Travis, the most charismatic president. I agree with that sentiment. I think Travis might win. Anyway,
sorry, you were saying. Yep.
Did a video earlier this week, and the backstory behind this is really funny because.
Wait, hold on for a second. This is the second time someone's done this.
Okay.
Is that the same person or is that a new thing? Because that is hilarious. For people who are, sorry, if you're listening on the audio podcast, 2 people have come into the chat and said, hi, Travis. And hi, Greg. I just think that is the most hilarious thing I've seen our listenership do so far. And it's just a great, if that's 2 different people, then I'm really impressed. If it's the same person logging in twice, I'm still impressed, but I'm sorry, Greg. I'm sorry. What were you saying? I'm sorry.
Yeah, I've been completely derailed on my tangent twice now in a row. This is not going
I'm
well.
sorry.
Look at it. I'm getting hi Greg's in the chat now. Look at that. People
Yeah.
love Greg. So I filmed this video where I wanted to talk about these issues that are happening in China in dealing with production. You got to be very careful about what you say, though. Well, I can say it here because we're not monetized.
Yeah, we're not monetized. Who
Coronavirus,
cares?
COVID-19.
Yep.
You can't say that in your YouTube videos, or else you'll get demonetized.
Yeah.
I was filming that March video, and like I filmed half of it, and I was like, "Oh, I can't say coronavirus. I got to edit that out, and I got to like replace it." And I'm like, "How do I say it?" And it's like, like some people say the beer flu and all this stuff, and I'm just like, Anyway, whole video, I'm just like, the issue in China. Like, keep it together. You got it. There's issues going on in China right now. There's manufacturing issues. I had to like tiptoe around that subject, which was kind of like really stinky. Like I get it. Like they're trying to like stop people from spreading false information, all that. But I'm just trying to give like accurate information. I got to tiptoe around calling this thing the coronavirus. And but yeah, so March 31st is the rumor for this Apple event. It looks like they're going to eke it out at the end of March. There's issues in China with production, and it's getting worse. The last I read, this actually spread to South Korea, and Samsung is shutting down their manufacturing in Korea. So this is spreading even further than I thought it would. I did not think Samsung's plants this week.
This is a really big thing. So can you say virus corona? Well, we can say whatever we want on this channel, but what for people who don't know, and YouTube has come out and said this, that they are essentially demonetizing any coronavirus videos, which includes just saying like coronavirus in a video. So that, and the reason why that's a big deal is A, for the bigger YouTubers, like that's a big chunk of money, and B, there's also the thought that if a video is demonetized, that it doesn't get as many views because YouTube doesn't spread it as much. So it's a big deal on creators, and now it's kind of a problem that we have to kind of get around. I don't know. It's terrible that we can't talk clearly about it, but I think people know what's going on. So for viruses, this is a terrible thing. Think about the flu. Every time this time of year rolls around, people get the flu, and it's terrible. But now you have this other version of a virus, this other kind of, deadly thing, which happens every so often. Like we get these weird viruses every so often, and it does affect people in a really small area. Now in China, in the factories, there are people butt to elbow. You know what I mean? Like they're next to each other. So it's a matter of time for any kind of sickness to just blow up. And then, of course, people are leaving China to go other places. So the spread is just it's naturally going to happen. And if it's not caught, if the person's not caught when they land, you go see your family goes to work, and now it multiplies. So yeah, the whole thing with Samsung, and we're going to see a marked, like a downward, not spiral, but a downward kind of trend in the availability of products and the first quarter profit results from some of these companies. So that's an interesting thing. It's a huge problem.
Yeah, and this is like a problem that it might like impact us for like years, like financially for years, going through and like shutting down these factories, not meeting your production quotas. Apple had to revise their, financial statements and everything doing this. And and not only revise their financial statements, they couldn't even give like an updated number. They actually don't know like how big of an impact this is even going to have for these coming months now, because it's just so unpredictable. And they're already seeing their production hit in China with 10% of the factory workers being staffed reportedly there. And and it's going to lead to delays in products. It's going to lead to very low availability in products. I think we might even be seeing that now with things like the Z Flip, and maybe even this S20 launch. Maybe these things are going to be like delayed. I've seen people like pre-order the S20 Ultra, and like shipment dates are already going out. And for a launch for like a Samsung phone, it's a little like it's not as unheard of, or it is.
Here's a question. Here's a question for Lions fan 67. He says, "Will iPhones go up in price if the virus keeps up?" I don't believe that they will.
No.
What you're referring to is like supply and demand, where most other products would. Right now, iPhones are not completely new. I don't see them raising a price because of. Here's the thing. Here's like a proof positive. If anything, Apple could easily raise the price of the AirPods Pro because they've been sold out for months. If they really wanted to raise the price of something that's hard to get, they would have done it on the AirPods Pro already, and they're just not really about that. So I don't think you should expect to see that. But a good question, because I know that the fear would be there, and under most other product lines that would be the case. If there's a lack of product and there's a high demand, you raise the price. But by and large, like phones and stuff, that doesn't tend to happen. It would be unprecedented if it did.
Yes. Yeah. I don't know they're going to raise prices, and every consumer would see that there. They would see Apple raise the price, take advantage of a horrible situation, and that's a sentiment you don't want to have. Consumers are going to remember that and go, remember when Apple raised the price of the iPhone by $300 just because of the virus happened? Like they really took advantage of their customers then. That's not a look they want to have. Now, if the production costs for these things go up, you could see that, but that's more of like a long-term effect, and I can't see that happening. It's interesting for sure. And like, I feel really bad. Like I look at like some of these videos coming out of like China, people in the hospitals and stuff like that. It's like a very sad situation. And there's a human element to all this besides tech. A lot of people are like, oh, my tech's going to be delayed. But you also have to remember there's like a human element. There's like people suffering and stuff like that. So you don't want to forget that as we talk about this. But the reality of the situation is we are in the tech industry. These are products we cover. And people are excited for these products. I know for my fans, a lot of people are very excited for the iPhone SE2 or the iPhone 9. Getting a lot of comments about that. People have some demand for this $400 iPhone. And even though there are production delays, and even they might release this phone and it might sell out in like 2 seconds or something like that. It could happen. I'm looking at, like you said, this AirPods Pro situation they got on their hands. They can't keep them in stock. Amazon's got them like back ordered forever. It's crazy. But we are seeing that these potential Apple products kind of leaking by being placed in a Target database. I don't know if you saw this. They had
you mean Target. Yeah, Target, yeah.
So they had iPod Touch X generation at $399. These are placeholder names. If you ever worked in like retail, if you ever seen like an inventory system when they're getting new products, and sometimes will be like a placeholder name before they get like the real name. They don't know what to call it, but they got to keep accurate track of inventory. So they put like a little placeholder name. iPod Touch X generation $399. That's obviously the iPhone 9 or iPhone SE2. They're not coming out with a $400 iPod Touch.
I mean, that would be breathtaking.
That would be crazy. A modern design iPod Touch, full screen. Would you buy it?
I mean, what are we doing? Didn't they just come out with an iPod Touch like a year or so ago, and everyone was like,
I reviewed it. Don't buy it. It's awful. Yeah. Don't. $200. Not that good. No, battery, it lasts like 2 seconds. I wouldn't. Yes. So we talked about that phone before. I think a lot of people are excited for it, but some other things, Travis, that you might have to review with your expertise.
What's that? Well, I am going to get the iPhone 9 for sure. Oh, the
Apple headphones. You getting those?
It looks like depends. Are they $1 million? I mean,
they're $400 from this Target leak, and they're called the placeholder name's funny. AirPods Generation X. I like
Generation X.
Yeah, exactly. That's exactly what I was thinking of.
Yeah, no, people in Dubai would probably buy a $400 iPod Touch. Listen, $400 is too much. It would not surprise me if they're going to try to charge that much. But so the industry right now, especially for headphones and stuff of a decent quality, is like 300 and under. So to go way above that is like, the funny thing is they might go, well, our AirPods, go in your ear, $250, which by the way, there's tons of headphones for under that price that sound great. So maybe they go, well, if we put headphones out, we can charge a lot more because they're headphones. So if they really are $400, that might be a catch and release, as my boy TK says. You catch it, play around with it, and you release it back to the store. I don't know.
I think 400 sounds right though, based on.
You're right for what?
Well, no. Just based on how they price everything else. So they have the AirPods
I see what you're
at $169, AirPods Pro at $250. I don't think you release Apple headphones at $250 again. It's going to be a premium, and it's going to be like a $150 premium for that.
Well, but here's the thing. If they go 400, that means they are saying that they're better than some of the best, noise canceling headphones that are out there, and I'm talking Bose and Sony, and I have some doubts that their noise cancel. It's Apple, but Sony has the game on lock when it comes to noise canceling. And if Apple came out of left field and beat them with it, which I don't know how they would do that, but let's say they do, then okay, 400, fine. But I mean, they're going to have to beat them in every single way to be $400. There's very few headphones in the $400 space that are like not like high-end prosumer type things. There's very few above 250, and even 250 is kind of like, beyond that, it's like,
okay. But I also look at like Apple owns Beats headphones. Beats are what, the best-selling headphones?
They're like $200 or $300 though, right?
Well, the Beats
even
Studio are $350 when they're full price. When they have the Studio, when the Studio 3 came out, they were $350, and Apple's going to be more than Beats. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, I mean that's true.
They're going to be a $50 premium for the Apple headphones, and I don't know. I think they might sound really good. They're definitely going to compete in that high end. I don't know. We'll have to wait for you and Jefe to listen to these to tell us if they're worth it. But if it's Apple, they're targeting that audience. They want to be the best. Whether or not they are the best, that is what they try to. That is their marketing. They want to be like the best experience. And if those other headphones are competing in that prices, like the Sonys, like these headphones that sell really well and they have like great noise cancellation. I mean, I like the noise cancellation in the AirPods Pro, and those are really tiny earbuds. Like they might be able to do it in a nice pair of headphones, but you might get a HomePod situation on your hands.
Oh my God, that's true. There's always that.
Man,
goobly goo.
I'm interested to see what they're going to do in that space. But yeah, $400, it's a lot of money to be spending on audio products, and whether or not it's a good product or not, I don't know. Do you think people like want Apple headphones? Like, do you think there's like a big audience for that? Like AirPods make sense to me. Like everyone uses earbuds, and that's why they're able to capture that market so well. It's because like everyone uses earbuds. Here's a pair of earbuds that's wireless. It's a better experience than your wired ones. Okay, they nailed it. But like, I don't see as many people use headphones. Like earbuds, yes, everyone's using them, but like you don't see as many headphones. So it's a less saturated market.
Well, I think there's two sides to that. Number one, and people can hate on this, but Apple kind of created the earbud market when they started putting earbuds in with their phones years ago. And people can try to argue that and stuff, but there were a lot less wireless earbuds before the AirPods came out. And that's just it is what it is. You don't have to like the AirPods for that to be true. It doesn't really matter. Facts don't care about your feelings. It's just the reality of the situation. So we're in a situation now where the reason I believe why a lot of people do wear earbuds now is because Apple kind of came out with something that a lot of Apple users got, in which case and Android users were like, well, I want something similar. And now there's a bunch of those. Headphones were big before that, and they're still kind of big. I mean, sure, if you walk down the street, you're probably going to see more people with earbuds now. But just before that kind of explosion happened, a lot of people had headphones. So if Apple comes back out with headphones, it could re-explode the interest in that niche. I don't know. When Apple does something, it seems to matter. And again, you don't have to like Apple for that to be true. And in some instances, I don't like that aspect of it, but it's true. Another case in point, wireless charging existed for many years before Apple had wireless charging, and no one will argue that. However, equally true, it was not something you would find in a lot of places before Apple came out with wireless charging. Now you can go to like Starbucks and like some of the bench things, you just put your phone on it, charges, like it's in public everywhere. And it's not to say that it was never available, but it's a lot more available. And you can't argue that either. It is what it is, man. So when Apple does something, it matters. So bringing out a $400 pair of headphones will be good for the headphone companies because it'll reinvigorate interest in headphones, which the earbud industry now is blowing up. So they can thank Apple for that. And secondarily, it might actually open up a spot, which I would hate, for higher end headphones that are expensive. Now, it's going to also open up the lower end headphones because that's what happened to earbuds. Now there's earbuds at all types of prices, but it opens up a marketplace because of the rush of orders of an Apple device. So
Okay.
is what it is.
So I think what Travis is really trying to say is if Apple's coming out with these headphones soon, expect your premium Samsung headphones coming out.
Yeah. Good goobly goo. Yeah. A few years ago, Apple said they would open more production factories in the USA. Has that happened yet? I don't know. Has that happened yet, Greg?
No. And I don't know if it was Apple necessarily saying that or some politician saying that. So yeah, they do manufacture like the Mac Pro in the United States in Texas, but it's a very low volume product. It's not like super important.
Yeah.
But
Tech for Your Needs says, I'm tired of Apple dictating the narrate. I think he means the narrative for the rest of the market. One thing is good, not a negative thing. And it's true. Like, you don't want one company to be able to do that, but it is happening that way. I mean, the notch on the iPhone, no Android phone was doing that before that thing happened. And then some Android manufacturers, for no good reason, started doing notches. No one wanted that. It was a compromise. It wasn't because Apple thought it looked good. It just and you needed to do it for the the Face ID. So yeah, I mean, it's kind of annoying. I totally agree with Tech for Your Needs on this. It's one of those situations where Apple matters when it would be better if everyone matters. So when Samsung does something, it's cool, but it doesn't necessarily move the needle for like the industry. And as I know Samsung nice would be like, oh my God, but I mean, again, wireless charging was on Samsung phones long before it was on an iPhone, and you couldn't find wireless charging. And there's just, if you look at it like this, Samsung Knights were all like, oh, Samsung's always going to have the headphone jack. Nope, it's gone. Apple did it first. Yeah. Do you think that if Apple didn't do it, that Samsung would do it now? Why would they? Why would they do it? The only reason that that's a narrative at all in mobile is because Apple took it away. Now, whether you agreed with whether or not they should, you could argue that. I mean, whatever. But the point is, manufacturers are starting to take it away, and Apple did it first. So you can blame them for that and say that's terrible. Now, Apple, we hate you, blah, blah, blah. But it's the truth. They have changed the course of other manufacturers' designs.
Yeah, they have changed the shape. They have changed the port of like every mass selling smartphone. I know some smartphones still do it, but like the top selling smartphones, like they don't have the headphone jack anymore.
Yeah.
And
let's be clear, I don't like all of this. So some people are like, I get a lot of, how much should Apple pay you? Nothing.
Travis is just stating the reality of the situation. That's all he's doing.
It is what it is. That's literally all I'm doing. But I mean, I don't necessarily like it all. I'm just as upset about some of it as you are. But at the end of the day, you have to look at it for what it is and understand what that means. What it means is, if Apple's going to do it, prepare yourself. I mean, that's what it is. Prepare yourself. Don't hate on it. It is what it is.
It's true. So we have some other leaks from this Target thing. They listed like so many Apple products. New Apple TV. New Apple TV.
Now, I want to talk about that because I actually talked about this with, I think, Jason from Painfully Honest Tech. I don't see the point of this. And let me tell you why. You want to be geek is in the house. Good to see you, man. Good to see you. So the Apple 4K, which has been out for 2 years, I have, and it's a wonderful machine. I don't even remember what processor it has, but it works
like
great.
An A10X.
Is it? Okay, so it's even better than like the current gen iPad. So it's going to pretty much run everything that's on Android. Android. The Apple, the Apple Arcade, right? It runs 4K, not only HDR, but Dolby Vision and Dolby Atmos. What else do you need? I understand that Apple wants to refresh products over time, but this is one of the few products in their line which I see no point in refreshing. 0 point in refreshing. What is the point?
Okay.
Don't say 8K because I'm going to kick you in your face, because there's no 8K content out there.
I don't think it's for 8K, even though, I wouldn't say it's for 8K, but maybe it's capable of it. I wouldn't even say it's for that. But, you keep these products around for like a long time. And yeah, maybe if you go out and buy an Apple TV 4K today, it's going to be fine. But if you don't keep refreshing these products, they will eventually start to feel old. You mentioned Apple Arcade as something like, okay, the A10X is probably fine for it now, but is it going to be fine for an Apple Arcade game released in 2 years? Well,
No, but then you should release it in 2 years then. I mean, why are we releasing it now?
okay, but you release it in 2 years, and then someone bought it. Someone bought an Apple TV today, and all of a sudden, oh, I can't play this latest Apple Arcade game. I've only owned this thing for 2 years. That's not fair.
Well, that's already going to happen according to your situation. No matter, you can't win for losing. That literally that can happen at any time.
Let's just say it's like a processor upgrade, which I think what everyone's expecting.
It has to be
processor upgrade, and it's the same price. Like, is there really any harm in doing that? Like, even if they don't need to do it, just to say, you know what, we'll just future proof you if you buy it now. You don't have to worry about it, rather than selling the old chip at the current inflated price, which I think it is a little bit inflated for what it's packing in there right now. So
I prefer them just cut the price of the current.
Well, maybe that's the whole strategy. We've seen Apple come out with new products, and they're like, "Hey, now the Apple TV 4K original, now it's $100."
Yeah,
that might be what they're going for, and that might be the way to do it, rather than, okay, we'll just price cut this one and not offer a premium one. They're not going to want to do that. They're still going to want to have the $200 TV box that some people buy and who want the best experience. But then, other people who don't want to pay $200 on a TV box, and I don't blame them. They'll have the $100 option. I've seen people argue that they need a $50, kind of Amazon stick device. I don't know. Maybe they could do that. I think they should really release. Google has these Chromecasts, and you don't really control the Chromecast with a remote. You control it with your phone. Now Apple has a competing standard there with AirPlay. And I think that would be a really smart move for them to come out with this $50 AirPlay stick that you can put into any TV. You can cast. That's what Google uses. But you can stream music to it. You can stream video to it. You can stream your Apple Arcade to it. And it's $50. You control all with your iPhone. Plays very well into the Apple ecosystem. Because not everyone needs that $200 expensive box. It's a good experience, but there's a lot of people who refuse to pay that much money for that, especially when a lot of these features just come baked in on any TV you buy now.
Yeah. This all depends on, for me, this depends on what Apple's strategy is moving forward. They seem to have accepted the fact that lower priced products are selling really well, which is why we're going to see the 9 or the SE2, whatever the heck it's called. We saw the price drop on the 11. We've seen these things. So why wouldn't they come out with an Apple stick? Why not? But they also, I think, are acutely aware that they don't want to diminish their brand kind of prestige into being some type of budget thing. I don't see that happening.
Yes. and not saying it would be a budget thing. If Apple came out with a streaming stick, let's be honest, it'd probably be $75. They'd be yeah, let's put $20.
It'd still be expensive.
That's a pipe dream. That's interesting. I mean, it looks like we're getting a new Apple TV, whether you like it or not. Do you want to see what would you like to see changed in the Apple TV? As such a big fan, is there something you want changed?
Well, I mean, it right now is my primary streaming device. I have the Echo. I'm sorry, I have the Amazon Fire TV. I have a Roku Ultra. So I have everything, and I've reviewed them on my channel, all three. And what I said, a year and a half ago when I reviewed them, stands today. That of the three, the Apple is the smoothest experience, and it still is. It's still the smoothest experience. All the other ones are great, and I would easily recommend any of them. However, the Apple TV is connected to my TV because it gives me the highest quality most of the time. The only time it doesn't is with YouTube, and I wish that they would get over that. But for everything else, I have the highest quality of everything, whereas Roku doesn't have Dolby Vision. And while the new Fire Sticks from Amazon do have some of those things, they're very wonky on the Atmos support and everything. So the only real uncompromising 4K streaming device right now is the Apple TV 4K minus the YouTube support. And I'm still very upset about that because I watch mostly YouTube.
That's on change from a hardware refresh.
Right. Jason from Painfully Honest Tech told me that his major pain point on it, and I kind of agree, is the remote. The remote, they try to get too cute with it. They have that little touch kind of slidey part, which is kind of cool in theory. And then you're I just want a button to press. I just want to go next or left or right. It works, but it feels less accurate than a regular push button remote control. And I kind of agree with him on that.
I like it like when I need to like get to something like really quickly, and it is like faster to just do like that big swipe. But then like when you get to like the two things you're trying to select, it's like, oh, I overshot it. Yeah, and then I end up like tapping the sides. Actually, I've been using my iPhone as like the remote for my Apple TV a lot recently. You can do that now, like, and there's been a lot of like integrations with like the Apple TV recently. Like I could tell my HomePod to turn it on, which is like weird. Like I like discovered that, and I was like, oh, I could tell to turn on my Apple TV. I could tell to turn it off like as I'm like leaving the room, which is like really convenient. It's like, oh, like that's like some like really cool features like that they should bake into like all this stuff. Like it really does become convenient. And that wasn't there when it launched, like the HomePod. Like they've added that stuff through software updates. And like I recently like discovered like how cool of a feature I was like, oh, I'm leaving the room. Turn off my office Apple TV. It's like great. Yeah. So Apple TV. Yeah, the remote. I'm like iffy on it. Like maybe just directional buttons would be better because like a lot of people seem to have trouble with it. So why not give the option? It's an expensive remote too. You ever see like the price to go buy that thing by itself? It's like $79. $79 for the remote.
What is
the Apple TV?
$79 for what?
The remote. Just the like.
Listen,
if you
let me explain something. Let me explain something to Apple. Calm down. Calm down with this. Calm down with this.
They go on Amazon. I want to be correct. It says 59 on Amazon.
I don't, guys. 59 is too much. I can get a whole nother streaming box for that much.
Travis, I was talking about them releasing like a stick for $50. They got the remote for 59.
Bruh.
You might as well just buy a new app.
Bruh.
That is nuts. So let's see. There was one other thing. There's one other thing. New iPads was in like the
yes. List. Oh, okay. Let's talk about this because I probably will get one of these.
Okay.
What do we know about this?
I know everything. I know it all.
Tell me all the things. Tell me all the things.
You're gonna be so disappointed with this iPad.
What do you mean?
Okay, so it's gonna be a processor bump, obviously.
Right, of course.
I think a RAM bump too. I think it's gonna get like six or 8. Probably 6 though. It's Apple. I hope it's 8. Because I think if they want like pro apps to like really go the limit, like bump that RAM up, give developers. But it's Apple; they like to be stingy. But it runs fine. Like there's really nothing holding it back. Even like this current iPad, like I really don't even think it needs like a hardware upgrade with like the chips. But yeah, better processor, more RAM, and cameras. Travis.
Listen, I don't want the cameras. They can keep all the cameras. They can keep all the cameras.
And the 3D depth time of flight sensor, which is interesting because Samsung has this on their phones and they've like shown it off and it's very gimmicky right now. It is. Yeah. But this will potentially be the first Apple device with this sensor. Now, Apple traditionally when they do a feature, they really want to like show it off in like a way that isn't gimmicky. Not saying it won't be gimmicky, but they really try and tell the story for this feature of why you need this. And putting this time of flight sensor on the iPad first is interesting. I wonder.
I don't understand. What is the point? What is the point?
But that's what I want to say. I don't know. Like, if they're coming out with those glasses, maybe it's a way for like developers to use it to like actually get like realistic 3D scanning models, make it like simple for them to develop these applications. That's like the only thing I can think of that would be even remotely exciting. I don't think we will ever use it personally. I don't think you're going to be scanning things. Maybe I don't. I just don't see the point.
The only time I use the camera at all, and it's very rare, but if I happen to be using my banking app on my iPad and you can scan in checks and stuff, like for that maybe. But
yeah.
Or wait a minute. When you transfer, okay. When you first transfer, like from one iPad to another, it gets that little 3D thing and it goes, bring your phone next to it or whatever. You bring your other iPad over to it and it's got that little 3D thing and it uses the camera to figure that out. So it does a transfer. That's when I use it. That's it. I did one video where I shot the video and edited the video on an iPad just as a proof of concept. I wouldn't do it again, but I did it. I don't care about, I would love for them to spend more time on other aspects of the iPad. This is for the iPad Pro, right?
Yes.
I would rather them spend more time on other aspects of it than the cameras. Like I would love for them to not spend any more money trying to get the cameras better on an iPad and use more money either on the battery technology or I don't know, anything, even though it's a great device and I love mine. Spend the time that you did to get those cameras on there into something else, just anything else.
Yeah,
I need the fun for FaceTime. The rest, catch the L.
I think most people agree with you on that, on the camera front. Like most people, like, well, why are we putting cameras on the iPad? Why is there even a rear camera? Like people take photos with their iPad. Why are they doing?
How much is this thing going to be? By the way, I need to make sure I have enough money.
I'm guessing it's going to be the same price as what we're looking at now, without like these sales. Like, what is it like?
And we're going to find this out in March. Is that what we think?
March, yeah, end of March 31st. And again, like we talked about at the beginning of the show, it really is dependent on the coronavirus situation, how fast they get it contained. But you know, based on the leaks I'm reading about, it looks like Apple like wants to do a March event. They might cancel it, like not have it because of like they have to invite like press, and they might have to invite people from China, and you know, it's like you know, there's like a lot of like iffy things, like getting all those people together in a room and stuff like that. It's very compact. They might just do like, you know, like the press release announcements and all that. But
yeah, that might actually make sense this year.
Yeah, the most important part is like there's going to be new products, and the only reason I can really see them going for an event at this point is because it is a new iPhone. And this will be like one of the first times they just press release an iPhone. Like, I know it's not like the exciting like, you know, the flagship iPhone, but they've never just like press released an iPhone. Like, oh yeah, new iPhone, here's a press release. Like, this is going to be a big selling product for them. So they might want to give it stage time somehow, but you also don't want to get all like your employees and Tim Cook sick, you know, like that would be devastating.
Here's the interesting thing. Oh, real quick before we get there, so I might be in the minority. I get an iPhone with no calling or texting option. That's called an iPod Touch. Just data so I can watch Greg's Gadget while buying produce in the supermarket. That's an iPod.
Hey,
Touch.
There you go. Yeah, make the Greg's Gadgets edition of the iPhone. You love the iPhone, and all you can do is watch my videos. You can't do anything else on it.
So here's what the situation Apple is in. First of all, MWC Mobile World Congress, which is one of the biggest, I think it's the biggest mobile event of the year.
Yeah.
Is canceled. So that's a big deal. That's based on this, right? Apple now has to think about, is it worth the risk of getting people to come to their event and then telling maybe certain people that they can't come because maybe what country they're coming from? Now, how does that look? That looks terrible. And you can't say, oh, you're coming from China, you can't come. Oh, you're coming from Korea. Oh, I'm sorry, you can't come. And some of those companies would want to come because it's a big deal. It's a big phone. Some press from those places. And but you can't summarily go, oh no, if you're not from the States, you can't come. Like, that's terrible. So you're kind of in this weird situation where you're darned if you do. Well, actually, you're only darned if you do. If you don't, then you just do a press release and it's just a little bit less impactful. But it's Apple, which means it's still going to fly. People are still going to cover it. You send it out to the influencers you want to send it out to, and you're good to go. But if you bring people into one place and MKBHD gets the coronavirus, that's a wrap. That's a wrap. I mean, seriously, think about that for a second. I mean, what happens if that happens? It's just not worth the risk. If I'm Apple, I do it all virtually and save a life.
Like a virtual event, right? Like,
ladies and gentlemen, I just saved MKBHD's life on this podcast. Yeah. Please tweet him and tell him
if there's no March event, we should send him this clip and be like, hey, you know,
I will. Don't think I won't.
Let's do it.
I just saved his life. You're welcome, Marcus. You're welcome.
Yeah. You're welcome, Marquez.
Oh, Marquez. Sorry.
Oh, it's okay.
Mr. Brownlee.
Sir.
Mr. Brownlee, sir.
Thank you, sir.
MKUHD is what it should be, right? Ultra high def, which is what it should be now.
I made a video one time where I called him MKHD DVD. That was my joke.
Not bad. I did the MK. Never mind. Anyway, I saved his life. So anyway, thank you, everybody, for letting us do this Gadgetcast. I just saved a tech influencer's life just by thinking this conversation through.
We do the Gadgetcast virtually. Like, you know, we're not even giving you the cold, you know, like,
no.
I want to see some thank yous in the chat.
Yes. Can we get some thumbs up for the lives that we have saved?
Soap, right, Travis? Phone Soap, right?
Phone Soap. Let's talk about Phone Soap. They're not a sponsor, but I might have to hook them in because I actually like their product enough to talk about them just real quick. If you go to phones, I think it's phonesoap.com. We're not sponsored by them, but you may or may not know that your phone is 18 times more dirty than your toilet. Now, think about that for a moment. And it's true because most of you are on the toilet with your phone anyway, right? So you got at least 1 times just for that, and then everything else you do, right? I got this thing called a phone soap. The company is super cool. They've been on like Shark Tank and stuff, and it's this little UV light thing. You put your phone in, and it sanitizes it. For the sake of all the viruses going around right now, Michael Fisher got taken down and was put into the hospital. He had the flu so bad. Literally, you get this thing. It's worth the money. You put your phone in, it sanitizes it. Done deal. Like, just get it. We don't get any sponsorship from this. This is probably a dumb plug. I probably should charge them for this, but I just think it's important enough that I talk about it. That, if you can help sanitize some products you're taking out there in the real world, and maybe it saves you from having a couple sick days off, it's worth buying. So it's called Phone Soap. You can get it on Amazon, everywhere else. Just Google it.
I'm anti phone soap. Just get it as dirty as possible. Rub your phone, build up that immunity system.
Oh my God!
All right, phone soap won't sponsor us.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, yeah. That was
people, him. Again, if you're listening to this on the audio podcast, you're missing all these people say thank you in the chat, which was just one person. I got a thumbs up too. GWC10, thank you. And you're welcome, I should say. Sorry, you're welcome. Scott,
exactly.
Scott got it. Put everything up. Release it March 1st. Be done with it. Yep. I think Scott's got the right idea.
If we give someone a coronavirus virtually, they come back to haunt us. Let's use Whoosh. I don't know what Whoosh is. I haven't heard of Whoosh. Anything else we want to cover before we drop this podcast into the ether of the internets on a Monday morning?
I think we'll save this topic for like next week. But,
okay.
Well, just real quick. S20.
Yes.
S20.
Oh.
Seen a lot of camera stuff. You excited?
Yeah, I mean, I'm fine with it.
It's going to be in the note, right? You're a note guy, right? So
yes, I am a note guy.
Camera tech that's going to be in the note.
The thing that worries me the most is how much the note's going to cost.
There's gonna be a note Ultra. You know that, right?
No.
There's gonna be it's gonna be like a $1,500 phone, Travis.
I don't know what to say about that, because I don't want to get the peasant version. I want the Ultra version. So
it's gonna be. That's one of the first things I saw. I saw the Ultra. I'm like, it's gonna be a Note Ultra.
Yeah. What does that mean for iPhone? We'll see. The 12 Pro Max. How much is that thing going to be?
If Apple's smart, they'll keep it the same price and be like, "Hey, look."
I mean, it wasn't cheap either. I don't know. It's I don't know.
Never. But this camera seems to be a huge upgrade for Samsung cameras, especially. I'm not like some people are like, "Oh, the rear camera is like really great." I've seen like some like camera comparisons, and I'm like, I don't know, like Pixel and iPhone are still doing good, still doing like really good. I really got to see like someone do like a really good full like one, like someone hasn't done like the ultimate comparison yet, but like I've seen some floating around, some where like I'm like, yeah, the iPhone and Pixel are still doing like really good against this rear camera. I'm really impressed by the front-facing camera. Like the front-facing camera looks really, really good for a front-facing camera.
Yeah, it's about time. Front-facing cameras have caught a lot of L's over the last couple of years, and they are one of the most important cameras since people are using them probably even more so than the rear. And yeah, they look good. Listen, the cameras need to look good. They kind of got their butt handed to them by Apple last year, and I think they're coming back with a fury, and that's good. I'm glad. Let's keep raising the bar. And let's see what happens. So I'm totally cool with it. I have no problem with it. I think it's great. It'll continue on with the Note, which is the one I always wait for, and we'll see if they throw a little sauce on that as well. Sometimes the Note gets a little extras here and there, but yeah, I mean, it's great. I'm glad. Well, I'm also interested to see what Apple does, and OnePlus, and like there's so many companies that are going to be releasing phones this year. I'm really excited to see.
Yeah, I made the joke today on Twitter. Like everyone who has this phone does the same. Yeah, the zoom in. Let me zoom in. 30x, 100x. Like
super mode engaged.
It's just full of like 4 grids. I don't even have to read anything they say. I already know what it is. I know the comparison. I'm like, all right, the 100, and I always like the 100x because it always looks like really bad, but like the 30x is good. Like it's a way more usable zoom. Like I get why they went to 100. Like but like to be able to do like a 30 and get it as clean as a lot of people are getting it is great. Like the Apple iPhone and the Pixel 4, I like the Pixel 4 zoom. They had like a super res zoom. They're doing some software. I thought it was great, but it looks like they're definitely beat on zoom at least.
Yeah, 100%.
No contest thing. But I just think it's funny when like people post the 100 times zoom. I'm like, they really should have like restricted it in software to 50 because like
I would have stopped it.
So good, and it'd be like
100%.
They should have did it to 50. But like, I guess they just wanted to be like, we can go to 100. Like
they want the number. Why else would they put like 16 gigs of RAM in a phone? It's ridiculous. But that's for another day.
It's another
day. For something we're gonna use.
Hey, there's gonna be a lot more Samsung stuff next week, so that's definitely a topic for next week. So if you want to hear about Samsung, it's gonna be a big topic next week.
Yes.
Yeah. Unless we get coronavirus and die, and then I apologize to everyone. Travis uses phone soap, so he'll be fine. He'll solo cast. He'll come back.
That won't be fun, but I'll find someone else to take her again. Greg finally gets canceled by the coronavirus.
That's what did it.
It's not what I did not see that coming. Okay, so for everyone on the audio podcast, we're gonna say goodbye. Of course, people in the live stream get to listen to the bonus content a little bit afterwards for a couple minutes.
Travis, I don't want to make the people listen to the audio podcast feel bad. Ooh, this after show is gonna be so good.
It's going to be so savage. And if you want some of that action, you go to youtube.com/Gadgetcast. And even if you aren't here live, you can watch the replay on YouTube. So check that out. But I'm Travis. He's Greg. We'll see you next week. Recording stopped.
That is a wrap.
Yes.
Wow.
You know what I did? I've been better about this, and I messed up. I hate when I do this. I usually just delete like trolly comments. I don't even bother responding to them. And for some stupid reason, I responded to one right before the podcast went live. And then of course, what happens? They reply something stupider. So I'm like, now I'm just in a stupid contest. So now I just went back and deleted. I'm like, why didn't I just delete it to begin with and just not deal with it? I don't know. What is my problem?
Why is Travis playing around?
I don't know. What do you do, Greg?
Oh, the troll comments. I'm the weird guy on YouTube. I love the trolls. Bring it on. I like get as mean as you want. I don't care.
And you just let them sit there. I don't do that. I don't let them do that.
If it's something like racist, sexist, I delete it because I don't want people to see it. But if it's like a personal attack against me, I let it stay. I don't care.
I let people who criticize in a rational manner. I let all those stay. I'm totally fine with that. I think it's cool. I have no problem with it. But some people just say some stupid stuff, and I'm like, nope. Yeah. Negative.
Nah, if it's like I got some good negative comments that I save and I look at them.
I might have to keep them for like
my favorite thing is when someone leaves like a really long hateful comment. Like people type like paragraphs like telling you how awful you are and like all this stuff. And it's like paragraphs and paragraphs like information and why you're wrong and all this. My favorite thing to do is to see that comment and respond to it. Nah. That's it. Like they wrote all that out and just go, nah.
Yeah, nah. I've done that before.
Yeah.
But most of the time it's something like, you should shave. I'm like, nah. You should stop yelling. Nah. Like it's stuff like that. I'm like, nah. You should do this. Nah.
Scott, I agree with. See, Scott, like the mean comments I usually agree with. So when you say I suck, I'm like, yeah, it's true. I agree.
All these views say otherwise.
Yeah. Well, people don't know what people don't know what good content is, so they watch me.
They can't find any. The algorithm is just throwing them you.
Yeah.
All right. Greg's doing good stuff, man. And by the way, I'm a little surprised that 10 tips didn't fly off yet, but I know it's going to. That's just one of the videos I know that in like 2 weeks, it's going to be like 1 billion views. What is it at now? It was at like 1,000 after a day. And I'm like, what? But then I was like, it's still going to get a stupid amount of views. Like I'll get a DM from Greg in like 2 weeks and go, this thing was dead. Now it's catching on. 10,000 views an hour. Like what?
It's only at like 3,000.
Yeah. It's going to catch on because it's a good video. I actually watched it because there's a bunch of things in there I didn't know.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah.
See, it's always hard for me to do those because like what do people know? And like I always like doing those videos though, because like sometimes I do them and I'm like, I hope like people like actually learn something from this. And then like a lot of the times I post it, there's always someone who's gonna go, I knew everything about these videos. Like I knew everything already. This didn't help me. And I'm like,
yeah,
okay,
well, it's not for you then.
Sorry. But like
I go, it's not for you. That's literally what someone said about before
like,
you buy this. They were like, I knew all this.
On this last one going like, oh, I didn't know you could like screenshot with the Apple Pencil. Oh, I didn't know you could do like flick typing with the keyboard. I didn't know that. And I'm like, oh yeah. Like awesome, right? Seeing G10 helpful. Thank you.
Yep. Am I fine with? I don't know if it sounds a bit harsh. Are you mean like if someone's just bantering in the comments? I don't care. Like, it's fine. Yeah. I mean, if they're just being hateful for the sake of being hateful, then I just delete it. But even if they don't agree with me, if they say I just don't agree with anything you said, as long as they do it respectful, it's fine. Keep it there. It's fine. I think that's good.
I've talked to like a lot of creators, and like, man, like comments can really like ruin their day. I just can't let it ever get to me like that.
Yeah, that's definitely something that used to be a thing. Yeah.
Sorry.
That's why I delete them, because fortunately for me, my memory is so bad that if I delete something, that like an hour, I'm like, I forget it ever existed. I'm like, oh.
If you ever want to make stuff on YouTube, like just don't listen to people who like hate you. Like you're like, you could be the best and like someone's still gonna hate you. It's just
like literally, we didn't say anything interesting before we even really got started. This thing had what, 2 downvotes or something? I don't even care. I never look at downvotes, but
I'm actually surprised. That has 4 dislikes, which is I've never seen that.
We're at 4 now?
Yeah, people hate us.
Nice. That's cool, man. Means we made it.
They hate us because they hate us
because they ain't us. Anus. Hate us because they ain't in our anus.
Got a lot of people watching. Still a lot of people here. Surprised.
Yeah, man. Why not? People like us. I appreciate that. All right, look, I got other things I need to do though. So
Travis ending the after show early. I say let's go for 3 hours. Yeah,
we record another Gadgetcast. We're gonna do that.
Wait. Before you go, who would stay for a 3-hour after show? I just want to see like a yes or no.
No, be realistic when you answer this. No.
Oh, honestly, I want to know.
Troll. 3 hours.
To me and Travis for 3 hours.
Bro, we've been an hour. There's no way.
Who would do the 3-hour stream? Who's the one viewer who would be there at the end?
Yeah. Well, that's because
Wannabe Geek would be here for 3 hours.
That's because he's at work. He's stuck at work. He has no.
They would be here for 3 hours listening. All right. Oh, look at this 3-hour stream, Travis. You got to do it one day.
Hey, listen. We're gonna do stuff like that when the Apple event comes out. Like we'll do all that stuff. We'll do
you're banned. I'm just kidding. I wouldn't listen to me for 3 hours either. I don't blame you.
I wouldn't either.
That's for the 3 hours.
Yeah, but no, when some of these like the next Apple thing happens or whatever, we'll do like long live streams and stuff like that.
There's only one. There's only one guy who can go 3 hours.
Whoa! Oh my goodness!
You only gotta go 3 hours. You go.
Oh my gosh, you guys are nuts.
Forever.
Well, listen, I'm incredibly grateful to the Gadgetcast fans. Totally, like, means a lot to both. I know it means a lot to Greg too. Like, this is an amazing thing that we have started, and the fact that it keeps growing every week is pretty astonishing. I was literally talking to Greg before we went live about the audio views or listens, I guess is what they are, and how like we're up like 20% like every month. And it's like, why are we doing this? And I'm just excited because the podcast allows us to talk about things we probably can't get away with talking about on our videos. So thank you so much for coming through and hanging with us. And we really greatly appreciate you.
Yes, it's always lots of fun doing I always look forward to doing a podcast. It's weird.
I do too. I really do too.
Every Sunday I'm like, gotta do the podcast. Sorry, friends. Gotta go see Travis.
That's right. Sorry, I don't have any other life. You gotta go away. It's 2 p.m. It's gotta go. Yeah, so we'll be here for as long as you guys will have us. Yeah, Flossie does a lot of things. Flossie is the beast.
I'll be here even if you don't want me here. Sorry.
Travis, yeah, that's true. Unfortunately, he's not leaving.
I'll be streaming to 0.
Oh my god. Okay, look. Anyway,
when Travis leaves, it's just gonna be me in front of the microphone for a good 30 minutes.
He's literally just gonna record himself. Anyway, we're gonna go, but thank you all for joining us. And if you haven't listened to the audio, if you want to get like a good quality audio,
we will return next Sunday will be here. And
Yes.
everyone who is in the chat now will also be here because
Yes.
we're family. Can't leave family.
By the way, and be real when you answer this question, people in the chat. I want a real answer, and we probably should ask this on the next podcast. But again, the after show team rocks. Legitimately, how many of you, and I mean, don't say something just so that you think we want to hear it. Legitimately, how many of you would buy Gadgetcast shirts if we use like the logo or something like that? Be real. Don't lie. We don't. If the answer is no, that's okay. But if you would, just put it in the chat. Just like yes or whatever. I'm just curious. Okay. There's one. At least there's one. And that's it. Okay. Well, that's good. I appreciate that. I for real. Okay.
Hey, that's
funny,
fine,
guys.
yeah.
I for real no. I will be real no. Okay. No, that's hey, listen, we want you to be real. We haven't made anything, so it's not gonna hurt our feelings. I'm just curious. I just want to know like what the what the actual kind of interest is, if there is any. I'm waiting for a couple more people. Oh, if I didn't wear it, I would buy it. That's
You know what? I'm not,
appreciate it.
you know what? 619 WWE fan. I'm gonna like put you on the shirt, and then you'd be like,
There you go. And then we should Gadgetcast biggest fan. Okay. All right. Anyway, that's enough. Thank you all for joining us. We'll see you again next week. Peace and love. Peace and love. Oh,
Take
wait,
care.
one more. And
Oh,
have
there
to
you go.
represent. Peace.